Hi, my name's Alex Fryer. I'm a regional product manager in EMEA for Zebra Technologies Intelligent Edge Solutions portfolio, and really delighted to be here today at the Center Source conference to talk through our story in this space with our portfolio. So just before we go into the content, just some background on Zebra Technologies, as many of you may not be aware of us as a company. We have a large presence in most regions across the world. We have around 8,000 employees globally, 115 offices, as you can see there. We have a large network of channel partners, software partners and reseller partners that we work with, and integrators across all of our geographies where we work. As you can see, we're a large multinational company with $4.5 billion of sales on a yearly basis. And we put a huge focus on research and development in our portfolio and innovation around extending what we do today as a company. And a bit more context about our portfolio and where we are seen within the market. It's predominantly hardware based, as you can see from this summary here. We work across a wide variety of verticals, but predominantly in the supply chain. And here are some of our key portfolio pillars that we have today. So as you can see on the hardware side, we have a large portfolio of mobile computers, which large part of that portfolio, was grew out of our acquisition of part of the acquisition of Motorola some years back. So a large portfolio of ruggedized Android scanning devices. As you can see, we are the #1 in the market for mobile computing. Also printers, which is a big part of our legacy as an organization. Mobile printers, fixed printers, etc. We print all sorts of different labels, barcode labels, QR code labels, etc. Location solutions and RFID is also a huge part of our portfolio, which we'll talk about during the presentation. And we also have our scanning portfolio, tablets and kiosks, and an emerging part of our portfolio, which is Intelligent Edge Solutions, which I'm also going to go through in this presentation today. And just building on the Intelligent Edge Solutions portfolio that we have, which is the portfolio that I look after in my role. The vision of this portfolio is around how can we enable end-to-end visibility across the supply chain for our customers. You probably just got a flavor there in our previous slide of our portfolio and how it already exists in many parts of the supply chain. And as you can see on this diagram here, across warehouses, yard environments, retail stores, distribution facilities, ports, airports, etc. Our portfolio of devices and labels, solutions, software, etc. is really at the core of capturing data which enables visibility today. But we're of course trying to take that further with our portfolio and expand our offering in how we can improve end-to-end visibility across the supply chain. And for us, one of the key parts of that is data integration, data services, data aggregation, and data sharing, which is a huge reason why we launched some years back a platform called Zebra Savannah, which is what we call an intelligent edge platform, which essentially collects and analyzes data from all of these devices that we have out there today. So we cloud enable all these devices and enables our customers working across the supply chain to have more visibility on what is happening at the in the yard, in the distribution facility, in the warehouse, in the port, in the retail store, etc. And some more, more sort of architectural view of how this looks. We have, like I said, a large edge ecosystem, as we call it, of all of these devices: our printers, our scanners, our RFID readers, our scanners, our mobile computers, and we have connected these devices to the cloud. This is a big output from our Savannah platform, which we launched, as I said, some years back. And what we're doing is exposing the data from these devices through data services, as we call them. So these are RESTful APIs that are what essentially the product is. And these data services are being used today by our partner ecosystem, by our software partners, by our reseller partners, by our integrators, to build applications that essentially are designed to improve visibility across the supply chain. So how can you, for example, track vehicles moving across a port, or how can you track individual assets moving within a warehouse, or how can you track employees moving across a retail store, and how can you take that data from the devices that is generating the data and present it in a aesthetically pleasing way on a user interface. Our component of this whole ecosystem is, of course, the devices which already exist out there, and the data services that we are providing through our Zebra Savannah platform. And then, of course, our partner ecosystem is really important in this story, as they are the ones that are developing the applications to present this data. A big component of this whole end-to-end visibility vision for Zebra is, like I said, the locationing portfolio that we have. Locationing for Zebra is a huge focus in our portfolio. We've been the leader for the last 2 consecutive years in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for indoor locationing services. And whilst the word indoor typically insinuates within a building, we also extend our locationing services out to 300, 500 meters outside of a building through some of our specific hardware devices that we have for capturing location data. And some of the areas that we've been focused on, and this is some of the areas that have been recognized by Gartner, is we have a strong focus on how do we collect and integrate data from these multiple technologies across various different use cases in our across the supply chain where we work today. We've also done built various products for related to the challenges presented by COVID-19. So, for example, we had a COVID-19 track and trace application that we built called MotionWorks Proximity, which enables a safe return to work for employees within a warehouse, a distribution facility, a yard environment, and enables the collection of that data and the swift and efficient sending of data where a track and trace event has happened. And like I said, we've also been recognized for the focus we have on the data service and cloud enablement aspect of integrating and aggregating data. And of course, we have a huge network of partners and customers that we work with today to bring these solutions to market. A bit more depth into the locationing portfolio that we have in the market. Outside of organizations and people that are in the technology industry, there's still a fairly low level of knowledge on what constitutes a locationing solution, what locationing technologies do exist today and have existed for some years that enables the capture of location. And that's why what we did here is to represent in a bit more of a sort of lower level technology format, not just presenting our devices that you can see on the left, our beacons and tags and RFID readers, but presenting from a use case point of view, what technology is most fit for purpose in the locationing world, depending on the accuracy and data output. This is the reason why we built this very straightforward table to show what is the optimum locationing technology for tracking location. And as you can see, there are a real variety of technologies depending on the accuracy requirements and the data output as described here. There's even some that are missing, for example, simply scanning a barcode or QR code, which would be closer to the the bottom left of this table. But ultimately, from a pure locationing technologies point of view, there are various options, is the conclusion. And the reality is it depends on the use case. How, like you can see here, how accurate is the dependency on the data output? Do you need zone or do you need sub-meter? And there's obviously trade-offs around the data output, the battery usage, the connectivity requirements, etc. on that. From our perspective, we have a wide portfolio, so we very much are at the start of the conversation with our customers around what is the use case, and then it leads into, well, here is the optimal technology. And of course, technologies are evolving. There's a lot of investment in wide area locationing as well, which of course we can connect into wide area locationing data in through the data that we are focused on, which is predominantly indoor, but extending out, like I said, the 500 meters using the ultra wideband solutions that we have. But from a locationing point of view, there is technology we would say is really we're getting to that pivot point where it's not the issue. The challenge is defining the use case and then consequently defining the appropriate technology that's going to meet that use case. We've also gone beyond our hardware portfolio, and also with the help of Zebra Savannah, our data service platform, gone beyond the or started to explore other options around the storage of the data. Of course, in the majority of cases, with the majority of projects that are at play with locationing, the data typically is stored in a central database, either on a server on site, for example in the warehouse, or on a cloud server, which is a centralized cloud platform. But integration and data sharing with those sorts of traditional means of storing data are limited, and there is also a risk of the data security which comes with that method of storing data. And so we've been exploring partnerships with organizations like IOTA Foundation, who are one of the leading vendors in the distributed ledger and blockchain space. And there's a recognition in the market that supply chain is one of the #1 use cases for blockchain and distributed ledgers, because of the way that data sharing can occur and the protection on data security that exists with these technologies. As you can see, Gartner have recognized this. There's of course many proof of concepts already going on with distributed ledger technologies and blockchains in the supply chain, and we really believe in the future of this. We've also built some proof of concepts and worked on some live projects with IOTA. The screen on the right you can see is a project we worked on with them, where you can see at the bottom right, this is obviously more of a technical demo, but you can see in there we have an antenna which is in that video with an RFID reader of Zebra, and we are in the demo, what you can see is a box passing the antenna, and then that data instantly being sent to a distributed ledger from the reader. So very, very exciting stuff, and this is really speaking to the technical focus we are putting on making it easier to send data from our hardware to distributed ledgers. We have actually an API if anyone is interested in testing this, which can be accessed by the QR code which is on the slide here. So that's some of the work we're doing in traceability and provenance and supply chain, which is very relevant as we see it in the forestry and the ports sector. And what's really important for us, and we always present this in the conferences where we participate, is our partner ecosystem is incredibly important to us, and we are a very partner-centric organization, especially on the software application side. We have a large, mature ISV program in which we work with a number of thousands of ISVs today to build applications with our hardware and with the infrastructure integrations we're doing with the likes of IOTA and others, to ensure that the final solution, we are open to the innovation around the final solution, and therefore the adoption we see accelerating. And again, we have a QR code at the top there if you'd like to find more information about our ISV program. So that's wrapping up our session here. We hope you enjoyed it. Of course, it was quite short, and we'd be delighted to continue the discussion. Any questions, please reach out to us, and we'll be looking forward to any questions straight after the presentation. Thank you very much.